So there's a news story out today from the Associated Press. U.S. bankruptcy court trustee is planning to shut down conspiracy theorist Alex Jones' Infowars media platform and liquidate its assets to help pay the $1.5 billion in lawsuit judgments Jones owes for repeatedly calling the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting a hoax. In an emergency motion filed Sunday in Houston, trustee Christopher Murray indicated publicly for the first time that he intends to conduct an orderly wind down of the operation of Infowars, the parent company, and liquidate its inventory. Jones has been saying on his website, when radio shows, he believes Infowar will operate for a few more months before it's shut down because of the bankruptcy. Murray also asked the U.S. bankruptcy judge Christopher Lopez to put an immediate hold on the Sandy Hook family's efforts to collect the... How are you going to get $1.5 billion? To collect the massive amount Jones owes them. Murray said those efforts would interfere with his plans to close down the parent company, Free Speech Systems in Austin, Texas, and sell off the assets, which much of the proceeds would go to the families. On Friday, the lawyers for the parents in Connecticut asked a state judge in Texas to order Free Speech Systems to turn over to the family certain assets, including the money in the bank accounts, garnish its accounts. Judge Maya Guerrera-Gamble approved the request, prompting Murray to have an emergency motion. Alex Jones is here to give us a comment on this. Hello, Alex.
Glenn, thanks for having me on. This is very historic. The, quote, families who are represented by high-powered Democrat Party law firms, the same ones suing Elon Musk right now for defamation, different plaintiffs, the same lawyers, they went on CNN last week and said, we do not want money. We want it immediately closed, the doors closed. They don't want to sell the millions of dollars of inventory, books, films, T-shirts, supplements, water filters. They don't want anything. They want it immediately shut down, and they said because we want to stop his speech. They actually said that on CNN. If you want, I can send you the clip. It's just outrageous how transparent this is. And again, in Texas and Connecticut, in both show trials 2 years ago, both judges found me guilty of failure to give any discovery, but we gave them everything. There was just no evidence of what they said that we did. So instead, both judges found me guilty in default and then had juries decide how guilty I was. They then put on evidence that I had $400 million in the bank. I didn't have $5 million in the bank. All of it was total disinformation. I was not allowed to put on defense. I was not allowed to respond. People that watched the hearing said, why don't his lawyers defend him? Well, they weren't allowed to. So this is very dangerous, very, very precedent setting. But they've now publicly admitted we don't want money. We want to shut him down. So they had filed a few weeks ago to totally just shut the doors. And so I said, fine, I'll do an orderly liquidation. That way the stuff actually gets sold off. The employees, might get some severance. I can go work for somebody else, be part of another operation. They're not going to silence me. And so they immediately ran to the same judge that found me guilty without a jury trial in Texas. And just in a summary hearing, no evidence, said, boom, seize all the assets. So now the federal trustee is in a fight with them, trying to block them today, grabbing the bank accounts and having the sheriff's department, it's in her order, come and lock the doors. So everybody's already basically got their stuff out of the building weeks ago. And remember, when I told people that they'd done filings to do this, the media said, oh, it's a conspiracy theory. Nobody wants to silence them. So the corporate establishment media, the leftist media's default is to always just deny reality and then turn around the next day and admit it was actually true. So, Glenn, I really appreciate you having me on to talk about this because, again, people ask how I'm taking it. This is a big, big deal, not just for me, but the whole country and the whole world. They've admitted in the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, CNN, everywhere, that they're going to use this precedent against me and lawfare against everybody else. So they use you as the beta test to kick the number one talk show host in the world politically at the time, you off of Fox, using a bunch of threats and disinfo and going after sponsors. And then now they're beta testing lawfare with me. And again, I'm guilty of plenty of stuff. I made plenty of mistakes, but I did not say 99% of what they said I said, but I couldn't defend myself. They entered 22 minutes of video at both trials that were coordinated in Connecticut and Texas. 22 minutes is all they ever had of me talking about it. They had 3 times with callers calling in me saying, yeah, I think it's totally staged. But I never sent anybody to their houses, never peed on graves. No evidence was given. Nobody went to their houses. Nobody peed on their graves. It was literally just like saying Trump, says that all Hispanics are criminals and that white supremacists are nice people. He never said those things, but the media creates this illusion that that's the case. And then when I was totally kicked off the air, except for some radio stations during my deplatforming that started 5 years ago, I couldn't respond anywhere when they were bombarding me, sometimes on every nightly news channel, hundreds of publications, saying things I never said. I was unable to respond. So that's what's so scary about the situation.
So, Alex, which one do you want to happen then? The liquidation, the orderly exit? Or, which one is good for you? Either?
Absolutely. Well, that's what happened 2 Fridays ago in court is they filed in court and told the judge, we want him closed today. And the rogue CRO admitted to the judge in court that indeed he tried to lock the doors and kick me out. And the judge told him 10 times, Mr. Jones is the owner under law, but so you can't do that. But as soon as I declared personal 7 2 weeks ago, I accepted the judge appointing this federal liquidator because that was my only last move just to get us a few months for an orderly shutdown. So that's exactly what's happening. So I agreed to this 2 Fridays ago. The media basically didn't even report on it. And then when he announced the liquidation a few days ago, the media reported that he was liquidating me. I agreed to that because it's the only thing I can do other than just let them put padlocks on the doors today.
Now, you don't get anything either way, right? They take whatever they can of yours. By declaring bankruptcy, does this now end your battle for the $1.5 billion judgment?
No, because both of the state courts found that I engaged in malicious intent to hurt people, which of course wasn't true, and the law is clear. You've got to have a full jury trial to do that. That's why both in Connecticut and in Texas, I have filed appeals. The word is we're going to win on both of them because these were not real trials that were conducted. Just like the Supreme Court ruled yesterday that you got to have a unanimous jury on a criminal thing,
yes,
which will, of course, overturn Trump's New York thing. It's the same thing here. This is 100% cut and dry. Their plan has been to take all my money away so that I cannot continue the appeals, but I've already prepaid the appeals. I've already got good lawyers on the appeals, and I'll just leave it at this. The word is that they're both going to be struck down in Connecticut and in Texas. So this has been kind of a race to just get me off the air in the meantime for this election.
Alex, best of luck. We'll keep track of the story. Thank you so much.
Glenn,
Alex Jones, you bet. He is right about one thing. Judicial warfare, lawfare, is the thing of the future now. Stu will tell you he can't do a monologue today. He can't do a show he was going to do because of the amount of litigation that we are now facing at the Blaze. We can't use sound. There's several stories that we wanted to cover, and we've covered the important ones, but you can tell the story much better when you have them on tape saying it. But now, for some strange reason, all fair use and everything else has gone out the window, shockingly right before the election, where we can't play people from the campaign trail saying things to the American people. Wow, that's interesting. And the litigation is just getting overwhelming, especially if you don't have the pockets that the Blaze has. They're going to put a lot of people right out of business with lawfare. That's real, and that's why I want to make sure I'm pointing out what's happening to Alex. As he said, he made a lot of mistakes. He did a lot of stupid things. We all have, and a 1.5. It was in the trillions, if I remember right. It was like $2 trillion, and then they brought it down to 1.5 billion. Like that. I mean, like that judgment is even possible for anybody who is in the media. anybody. We don't make billions of dollars. That shuts you down for the rest of your life. And you still don't pay for it.